us. Pardes Seleh, right? I said that
Marcella.
Sella. Yeah, why can't I say it right? It happens to the best of us, but yeah, Pardes Sella. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Comfortable.
Yeah, relax after work, just kicking back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to do podcasting. Um, so if you don't know who this is, she is probably one of the funniest follows you could have on Twitter. You could follow her at Pardes Sella, and that is PADRESSELEH.
Pardes.
Yeah, I think you got this.
I spell it wrong.
Yeah, you did.
Am I flipping letters here? Okay.
No,
Well,
which is my second name.
oh, really? Oh, party.
Starbucks name.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I spell like the
Yeah.
Starbucks baristas, but definitely check her out on Twitter. Funny follow for sure. It's when we tried to do this before, we mentioned the fact that you have a couple running bits that I find very funny, and the thing that I find fun, the most funny is the fact that there are people that tend to get offended at the weirdest times, like, and then they'll post the unfollow thing. You often retweet that. And does it ever shock you when people tell you cross the line?
Well, it shocks me when they're being serious.
Yeah.
Because people will unfollow me for, people will unfollow me if they're offended and stuff. I get a lot of that, especially, people on the right and the left, depending on who I'm attacking. I'm trolling, really, I don't really attack, but like the thing that really surprises me is when people are serious. Like if somebody actually thinks that I'm like a real cannibal, which it hasn't happened lately, but like before it happened.
Yeah.
Or when people think like one time I tweeted, "Who's Larry Bird? Like who the heck is Larry Bird?" And a bunch of people unfollowed me. Like
Really?
Yeah.
Celtic fans.
Yes. I'd say that's probably pretty typical for Boston fans in general. Like if you'd say the same thing about Tom Brady, you'd probably get the same reaction.
That's so funny.
That's true.
That is. Now on Twitter, we're kind of seeing a bit of an issue with the mob mentality. We've been seeing it from the left for, I would say, probably the last, I don't know, how long's Twitter been around? 10 years. Now we're starting to see it kick up on the right when you got like James Gunn, and they're also going after the New York Times editor, Sarah Gihon. I mean, rightly so, maybe, but I don't know if people should be calling for a job. Do you see this only getting worse?
I don't know. I feel like it's just going to happen so much until people get tired of it, because we still haven't gotten used to, like, especially like the older types, like the more traditional journalist type people, we still haven't gotten used to like the era of shit posting.
Right.
So I think we're still in like this new phase of like, oh no, this person that said something on Twitter, or this person whatever, and after a while it's just going to happen so much that we're going to get tired of it.
Yeah, like the shock value is gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is such a bad thing, because honestly, like, this is stuff that people say, and this is how people talk in the privacy of their own homes anyway.
Yeah.
It's just being exposed out in the open, and it's not going to make society like move backwards in any way.
No. Yeah.
Just people being real.
Right.
We'll be desensitized.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's happening very rapidly. I found out at a very early time in Twitter that you really have to watch what you post, because at the time I was working at a radio station, and my Twitter feed was linked to the station website. And I didn't tweet anything offensive to anyone, but I definitely used an F word when the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, and
the boss you represent the station.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was told Twitter's not right for you. So I was like, all right, that's fine.
You're effing fired.
Yeah, you're effing fired. The funny thing is like, if you go to a radio station, you'll hear more F-bombs there than pretty much anywhere else. aside from a drilling rig. Those are probably the two most places you'll hear the F word. Now, sticking with social media, interesting news this week is Alex Jones getting deplatformed. He's really the first case of that. I don't know. I find this concerning, not so much because I'm an Alex Jones fan. I mean, comically, he's hilarious. Yeah. But as far as what he says, I don't follow that. But I do think it's an issue that they're banning him because of hate speech instead of fake news. How do you see this growing into really an uncontrollable monster?
I think it's very dangerous. It's dumb and dangerous. 2 Ds, double D. And first of all, even if what he was saying is accurate, who said Alex Jones, is it illegal to say something that is not accurate? I don't know. No one is saying that Alex Jones is CNN or Fox. No one is saying that he's the the media god for everybody. He himself calls himself an entertainer. You know what I mean? Yeah. People like to watch him. He's funny, whatever. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is how do you determine whether someone is offensive objectively? Everybody has a different idea of what being offensive is, and especially, I don't know, people are offensive all the time, but so
yeah, I mean, it's really a personal preference of what is offensive.
Yeah.
To them. Yeah.
And honestly, in my personal opinion, I feel if more people were offensive, the world would actually be a better place.
Yeah.
Because there would be more communication happening. So if more people were just open and honest, they are on Twitter when they're anonymous, if more people were like that in real life, we would be communicating more, we'd be connecting more. The world would actually be a better place, in my opinion. A lot of people might disagree.
Well, you would know who the people are. If you just let everyone be themselves, you would know who and who you don't want to associate with.
Yeah. You don't have to associate or like everybody.
No.
So
and that's kind of the point, of freedom, right? There's people you're just not going to like. And, if you don't like Alex Jones, don't watch him. Nobody's forcing you to click the button on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, granted, a title of fluoride makes the frogs gay. That makes me click a button, but I don't know if that's everybody.
Yeah, works on me too. Well, I mean, she said it's dumb. I think it opens up a can of worms for them as far as how can, they're going to have to justify everyone that they take off now. Even if someone's doing something really bad, or they'll start abusing it. They could just, if they're against more of a conservative political leaning group, then they can just start getting rid of them all. It's their choice to do so, I guess. So,
who was that Democratic senator today? Chris Murphy out of Connecticut?
Oh, yeah.
The tip of the iceberg tweet where he says, yeah, InfoWars is just the tip of the iceberg. Now we got to basically go after more is what it boils down to.
Oh my gosh. A whole, basically the purge.
Yes.
And exactly. It's never ending because everybody to the right of me is a Nazi, right? So like, there's always going to be somebody to the, it's like it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and then and the people on the left, it's coming to a situation where they turn everything into like life and death. Like if you don't support the climate change stuff, then you are putting everyone's life at risk. Is where it goes to. Like if you're pro-life, then you obviously hate women. And so if everything is you support that because you hate X, then everything's hate speech and everything's hate ideas, which just opens the door to everything being bannable.
Yeah. It's bannable on those platforms because they choose to make it bannable. I mean, if it was like just, free speech, it would be a different story. But since they own the platform, they can kind of pick and choose what they want to do with it. So it's just, I mean, people are almost going to have to just stop using those platforms. I know that's easier said than done, but like recently Facebook, their stock has really, plummeted.
Right.
So Twitter has too, actually. So, I mean, I don't know why they would want any more bad press, but maybe they think this will help.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm scared a little bit. Like, the kind of stuff doesn't bother me because I'm just like, oh, the market will take care of itself.
Yeah.
But now it seems like Democratic senators have been passing around this proposal, and Laura talked about it in her show earlier tonight. They've been passing around like a proposal to basically get the government involved in regulating these companies, regulating speech, and making it so that you can get, as an American citizen on a social media platform, you can get penalized by the government for stuff that you post, stuff that you say, for not being accurate, like something like that, for not being accurate, for hate speech, which is basically whatever they determine hate speech is.
Right.
They can track you. They can find out where you are. Like, it's just...
That's terrifying.
It's scary.
It's like the Black Mirror episode when the woman has to check in on the social media thing and gets credits, and the government could regulate what she could do
or where she could live, and
because of how popular, how good she is, basically well behaved she is on social media.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean that seems like Nazi Germany stuff. I mean, they call everyone the right Nazis, but everything they propose doing is what the Nazis actually did. You know, they want to take all your guns, your freedom of speech, your freedom of expression away from you. It just, it's funny and it's ironic how they project that onto the other side, even though that's exactly what they want.
Yeah, exactly. That's what that that was also an identity politics driven government. It was a socialist government. Like, that's how every dictatorship starts.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, speaking of the Nazis, apparently Candace Owens is now considered a Nazi and all about white supremacy.
She's hating, as they say. They call me that all the time too. A self-hating Nazi.
That is ridiculous. I think they just they've ran out of slogans that they could chant. I think they just need to take a break from, assaulting people in restaurants and maybe come up with a couple more slogans so they could be a little more diverse in their approach.
Nazis, fascists, that's their thing.
But I give Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk a lot of credit for not getting it all violent, because I would be tempted to if people were doing that to me.
Well, they basically landed in a pot of gold with that video.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw in the video, Charlie was like dying of laughter. Because these guys made themselves look so stupid. Candace and Charlie didn't need to fight or anything. They just needed to sit back and laugh while a bunch of people made a fool of themselves.
Right.
Well, that's what the left is kind of doing. That's that they're losing the middle, the more moderate left, because they look at these people doing this and they say that I wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. Why would you treat someone like that? Or you're calling a woman a Nazi and throwing a drink on a guy. It just makes them look bad. It's hurting them more than it's helping.
I live in DC, which is like the bluest district ever, like in this country, and a lot of my friends are super liberal. Even they think this is crazy. Everybody thinks these people are crazy. So like it's getting to the point where like this group of super leftist people are basically driving everybody out of their party. Like they're just nobody wants to be associated with them, because like they're basically like a group of like, I mean, in that video you saw, like it was a group of like white protesters yelling in the ears of this black woman, "F white supremacy," like
yeah,
like stop the racist police, and like all the police were like black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It really is.
It's embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
Like for those people, it's so embarrassing.
So before we let you go, and again, we appreciate you being here. We were wondering. Oh no, we don't have to. We don't have to wrap this up. Absolutely, we could keep it going. But I will say, what was it like working for the tyrant Ben Shapiro, Daily Caller or Daily Wire for a while? Too many dailies out there.
It was like, seriously, that's like Ben and his people are why I exist. Like
now, did you? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, you shouldn't let me continue, because then I'm just gonna go on forever. I'm just gonna go on ranting like, oh, like it's pretty good. It's really awesome.
They're pretty good.
It's my home. That's my family.
Yeah. Did you expect when you were there that he was going to, especially in such a quick fashion, become basically the voice of the conservative movement? Like, could you foresee that like while you were there? Because he really has come into that role, I think.
He has. And one thing I'll say is that when I met Ben, I wasn't really involved in politics at all. He basically taught me everything I knew. When I met Ben, he had 40,000 followers on Twitter. He was famous in LA, but he was famous in LA and Seattle, and like he was really he was doing really well already, but he wasn't at all like he is now. I mean, in terms of like how much people know him, he was already very, very well grounded in his knowledge base and his career. But I wasn't involved in politics at all, so of course I didn't foresee anything. I just was amazed that I could be part of it. And so like I think I just got really lucky because I stuck around. I know that he was looking for interns, I remember, and like people would come and go. Like I was at UCLA. People would come and go at UCLA. It's also very very left wing school.
Oh yeah.
But I stuck around. I stuck around through the whole thing, and then ended up and then he hired me for Daily Wire, and I got so lucky because right away he just blew up. Like that was in 2016, like 2015, 2016. He blew up like crazy. Like Daily Wire did really well. His show did really well. I didn't see it coming, but also because I didn't know anything about politics then. So
maybe you're the lucky charm.
Yeah,
that showed up.
You
can take credit for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you're working as an associate producer for Laura Ingram's show. How's that experience been for you?
It's been great so far. Like I've been there for a month so far. It's like the first, it's the first place since I've moved to DC where I feel like so excited about work.
Right.
I feel excited to go to work. I feel like I'm learning a lot. I'm like scared and nervous because I feel like, oh no, like what if I don't do a good job? So my role on the show is I'm a writer, so I'm like the script writer. Yeah. So now you can blame everything on me. I'm kidding. I haven't done all of it so far. I've been writing bits. I've been writing bits and pieces. But it's like I love the team. I haven't interacted, like I haven't worked closely with Laura very much so far. I think that's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
As you know, as things move along, I've been mostly working with my other team members. They're all really nice. Like it's like a really good and being at Fox. I applied to work at Fox from the time I started working for Ben. Like when I was working for Ben, I was like, I didn't know anything about politics. I loved working for Ben. I loved the whole thing. And I was like, I want to work at Fox because that was the only place I knew existed. And I used to like apply like every single time they had a position I would apply. I didn't care what it was. And then like years later, they email me and they're like, hey, we see that you applied years ago. You were interested. Are you still interested?
And yeah, you got to take the opportunity when the dream job comes, right?
Yeah.
And it's a good environment.
Yeah.
Their HR department just really slow.
Yeah.
Getting to those emails.
Yeah.
Now, I did a little information before the interview, and I saw that your family, your parents actually immigrated from Iran, correct?
Yeah.
And they immigrated around the time of the revolution. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did they tell you what have they told you about like Iran before the revolution, and how was their exit? Was it kind of a scary situation when they got out?
So I think like at the time, I personally have never been to Iran.
Yeah.
But sorry. I'm like kind of scared too, but it seems like it's very different now than it was at the time that my parents escaped. They were both smuggled out, and at that time it was very dangerous. It was like, you know, right after, you know, it was like Persian Gulf War was happening. So the Persian Gulf War was happening. Their, you know, economy was doing poorly, and plus it changed overnight from being a monarchy that was very secularist, which, you know, it was, you know, the Shah promoted modern culture, and he was trying to westernize the country. He was trying to westernize Iran and make it, you know,
yeah, modern, basically.
Yeah, make it modern.
Yeah.
Tell, you know, like, you know, theater and arts and all that kind of stuff. And then this theocratic regime took over, which made it so that like even like things like music was illegal. Even music was illegal. Like listening to music, wearing makeup, wearing colors, like women having like even a little bit of their hair showing, a woman just being by herself. She's not allowed. She always has to have like a male.
Yeah, like escort, basically.
Yeah.
Chaperone.
And it can't be anyone other than her father or her brother, her
Right.
dad or brother, or son. So like it can't be somebody you're not married to.
That's crazy.
That really is.
No,
it's impressive.
Yes, very much so. And it seems like they're starting to, the demonstrations are kicking back up. I know under Obama, it, you know, boiled up pretty good, but he didn't back the demonstrators at all. Do you think if it gets basically to the point where it was under Obama, do you think President Trump will back the demonstrators? And what do you think that would mean to the demonstrators to have the U.S. president's backing?
Like I think he will actually. I don't know why. I just kind of feel like he will.
I've always been pretty brave on the Middle East stuff. He's,
Yeah, I mean,
buys guns on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, also, yeah, he said that he will be tough with them, so I feel like he would. And how the Iranians would respond, I feel like there would be a mixed response because a big percentage of the country is very like pro revolution, but then there are a lot of people who are just anti, like they're anti the government, but they also don't trust the U.S. government, and I think it's a cultural thing because for years, and my parents escaped before they got to be entrenched in that culture, but for years, ever since the theocratic regime kicked in, these kids, from the age of preschool, these kids are taught to hate the U.S., to hate the West, the great Satan, and like they're taught this in school every day. My mom sang me a song that she used to sing in they would sing in school. It was like how kids in here sing the national anthem. They would sing their song that was like "Death to America."
That's creepy.
So like you're teaching this to kids like from the time that they're little, and so I feel like there's this sort of natural distrust.
Yeah,
it's just ingrained in them, basically.
Yeah.
Over 30 plus years, so
yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess now before we go, because I am out of questions now, I actually got to go back to the questions I had on my original list to ask those, because the news changes. Like the Candace Owens thing wasn't on my original list of questions, and same thing with the Alex Jones thing. But I do think one of the things that would be get back to making this a light, fun conversation is we got to discuss the best Alex Jones moments. Everyone's got at least one. Which one's yours?
Hillary and Obama are the devil. I mean, obviously, I don't believe. Like, I don't believe anything Alex Jones says, but like I love watching his videos, and that's my favorite part when he just rails off on like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and calls him the devil, and he goes like, they're coming for your children, they're coming, and they're coming to eat. There was this one thing that he said, they're coming to eat your children, and I was just like, this is awesome.
It really is.
It's so much fun.
I just saw a video of him, like some guy ripping his shirt off. Did you see that? And he's just running around screaming in the studio. I mean, he's out of control.
Could you imagine going to work at that place? That's just got to be the biggest shit show of any kind of broadcasting ever.
Seems well organized.
Is it though, or is it just like on the? Hey, to me, it feels like it's on the edge. Like you feel like somebody could get stabbed every day there. It just seems that way to me.
Like improvised. Yeah,
like because you got the head of the company literally having his shirt ripped off by another guy running around the room, also talking about fluoride in the water and chemtrails and all the other horrific, crazy stuff he mentions. And it just, I don't know, his reporters seem to be a little off kilter, just a little bit. I mean, it seems like it would be a fun place to show up and just watch.
Yeah, it seems like very laid back. They seem very.
You think it's laid back? I think I don't know. To me, it just seems like they would be wired to me.
No, I think there's winging of ideas, and they're just winging it. That's what the beauty of it is. I mean, that's what I think. Maybe she feels the same way. Like they're just kind of like he just gets on a tangent and goes.
Right.
Like there's no script.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I like when sometimes, like if you listen to Paul Joseph Watson, which seems to be the sensible one that comes out of there a little bit, you know, he still is a little bit kooky, but he gets enough mainstream play to where sometimes he doesn't even follow, you know, Alex down his rabbit holes. He's like, well, I don't know if I believe that.
Oh yeah, there was like this one video where Alex Jones, I don't even remember what he was saying, but he was saying this. He was going off on this wild conspiracy theory about like how the Earth, like how like the global warming, like anti, you know, like
Yeah.
how global warming people are basically trying to like heat up the Earth on purpose so that they can like
You're right.
Yeah.
so that they can advocate against global warming. So like basically he's like going off on this like conspiracy theory, and he's like going into detail about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like you're just watching that guy's apologist, right?
Yeah.
Apologist Watson's face, and he's just like staring at the screen, like
Right. Just a blank stare. Like, am I really doing this? This is where I'm getting all my followers from. He really, I think he needs to go into the books on tape business because he does have that voice that is calming to listen to.
yeah.
I mean, he kind of sounds like George Harrison. Yeah, you could deal with that. Like he can definitely make a buck in that industry, I think.
Yeah, one thing about Alex Jones is that like people he's a very taboo character.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that he's evil. I don't think that he's evil. People say that he's evil because he's intentionally deceiving people to make money. And, well, he may be intentionally deceiving people, which is like, you know, but like, Alex Jones has been around for a long time. And there are a lot of people actually just like Alex Jones. And there is a market for it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like Alex Jones is going and tricking people who would otherwise believe something else. You know, it's like who would otherwise be watching CNN or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a market for it. He's filling it. If he wasn't filling it, somebody else would be filling it. And he's not the government. Like,
No.
he's not forcing anybody. He's a private, like, independent guy who's got an entertaining show that like he made a fan base out of. He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's not like you know, like if it's not hard, like he's not tricking anyone to come and watch his show.
No. Yeah, you have to seek it out yourself for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like a natural fan base.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just felt like I had to address that because today I was reading all over, like all these people are like, well, he's evil, it's illegal or whatever. It's like, what's illegal about this? Like what? Yeah. I feel like there has to be a line, you know, there's like a line where we say that
someone's evil or not. Yeah. We're just misinformed. Yeah. Misinformed isn't evil, basically. But
yeah, that's even objective. Like, how do you know?
Right. Yeah. But I we could all agree he does have the best iodine on the market, though.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And
thank you for having me. This is so much fun. I feel like I'm basically running your show right now because I'm just talking the most. I'm just like, blah,
that's
blah,
fine.
blah, blah. Like, every time.
We get tired of hearing ourselves speak, so that's cool. Yeah, make sure you follow her on Twitter. Let me see if I have the spelling written down right somewhere. Because which letters did I flip around? The D and the R?
Yeah, you flipped the D and the R.
Yeah. Okay. So it's PARDES.
Yeah.
Okay. At PARDESSELEH on Twitter. That's you know what? I forgot to pronounce the last name again.
Seleh.
There you go. I am terrible with names.
I'm gonna make like a pen name one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Jill.
Barbara Smith.
Yeah, just the two easiest names possible.
Yeah.
It's like or you could like have the phonic name tag for morons like me that just can't remember it.
Oh my gosh. Like
But thanks again. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, hopefully we can do it again one time.
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay, great.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Yeah,
You
you
too.
too.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, Adam. Good. That went well.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Broadcasting.